Why I choose the Komondor. We were looking for a shepherd dog to guard the several acres of land where we moved to. We thought about the Kuvaz and the Komondor breed, and finally my husband decided, and the Komondor became the choice. I didn't know the breed before, but by now I love them a lot. Komondors have become an important part of my life, and I think they will stay that way. I still like Kuvazes, but for a while now Komondor has been my number one. This dog was once bred and selected for the guarding and protection of territories and farm animals, and these are still their primary strengths and main functions. It is true that everything around us has changed since then. We do not live like we did 150 years ago, and our dogs do not necessarily have to live and look like that. Most of the dogs have been given a different status, so to speak, and I also like to give them primarily, almost exclusively, as family pets. Of course, I am aware of what they were designed for, but I am reluctant to give my own dogs only for keeping them outside or guarding territory, despite the fact that they undoubtedly have this strong instinct to guard territory and their family. As every buyer can choose where they want a dog from, I believe that a breeder can choose the conditions in which they want to give their dog to somebody. Of course, we also expect our dogs to be able to work, because that's what we once chose them for. If the future buyers apply for puppies, I also thoroughly question the prospective buyers about the circumstances and where such a dog will go. I always say that this breed needs to have an area that it can walk around and guard, where it can come and go at night, and thus have a job. In the past, I always told them to avoid dog school because Western-style dog drill training is not for Komondors. Recently, this has changed. I mainly tell my foreign customers to go to dog school with them because based on my experience, if not for this breed, but for the owners, it definitely benefits. I highly recommend going to school for first-time owners, but I always explain to them that they should not expect what they expect from a German Shepherd, that he will do everything at the first word and happily soldierly. This is a much different breed to teach, a real livestock guardian character. Together, they can learn that the Komondor should not be the boss in the owner and dog relationship. This is important because for an almost adult Komondor, around 1-year-old weighing 150 pounds, this is not very easy to explain. Nowadays, I notice two trends. Surprisingly, more and more people are looking for my dogs for breeding or exhibitions. Another interesting fact is that the proportion of foreign applicants is constantly increasing. I can sense a kind of increase in popularity and demand in America, but thank God I have been able to send Komondor almost everywhere in the world, including Australia. But of course, there is also a low level of interest in Hungary, although I do not see any growth there. There have been times, more than one, when I recommended a Puli puppy to those people who came to me for a Komondor. After meeting my dogs face-to-face, I felt a lot of uncertainty on them. This dog is for those who know the background and character of the Komondor, who have seen a Komondor face-to-face, and have experience of what he is like and who really wants it. Those who are not fully committed may not be good owners, because maintaining their Rasta fur is not easy, and after all, they are a giant shepherd dog with a rather independent character. I can confirm that Komondors are guarding seriously their territory, but they do not want to kill an intruder. When a stranger got into our yard, our Komondor stood in front of him and acted so firmly that the person froze and did not dare to go any further. We freed him from this situation. When we got home, it is a fact that they do not maul if they catch a stranger that occurs in some breeds of Eastern Shepherd dogs. They bite when necessary, but his attack is usually not bloody against humans. When we started breeding Komondors with people my age, although we were not very sympathetic to the old people, at least we were there. We had the momentum, the enthusiasm that we wanted to do this, and I don't see that today. The Komondor has become a very rare breed. It often happens at exhibitions, not abroad, but at home in Hungary, that I am alone with Komondor, and if for some reason I am not available, then this breed is not there, which is sad. What could be the primary reason for this? Unfortunately, I increasingly think that the Rasta fur, which is required of Komondor, and the work that goes with it is too energy and time-consuming. Preparing a dog in full hair for an exhibition is a huge job. Bathe it, keep it clean, and lock it away for a while, because if it rains in between, you can start all over again. If you go out into the yard, you get dirty. It's a fact, and a fact that it's an amazing job. In addition, this abundance of fur is becoming an increasingly serious problem in the changing climatic conditions. This summer, too, there were several weeks of terrible heat above 40 degrees Celsius, which was almost dangerous for dogs. Moreover, I do not believe that the shepherds of old times were able and willing to groom their Komondor's fur. I would find the most important solution to be if trimmed Komondors would be accepted. Once a year, I regularly cut the fur of my dogs with whom I am not yet, or no longer preparing for exhibitions, and I have to say that they look wonderful this way. They are sporty, attractive, lightweight, can move excellently, and cope well with the heat. According to old descriptions, shepherds, when shearing sheep in early spring, also caught the Komondor's hair, and this was natural at that time. I decided that next year I will enter several of my dogs in the champion class. With their fur trimmed, this is how I will present my dogs. I think we'd rather have the Komondor trimmed than have none, because if things don't change, we're moving towards that. Recently, I have heard encouragement from gentlemen and ladies of judges that we breeders should try to introduce this, that there should be Komondors at exhibitions, and that this would help to promote and maintain the breed. This is how we can make progress so that the preparation is not such a terrible job for the owner, and the keeping of the Komondor is also an easier thing to manage. I truly believe that this would help the breed to attract more people to choose the Komondor, as many people whose character would otherwise be perfectly suited in every aspect do not choose Komondor precisely because of their fur. In our time, more and more people struggle with lack of time, and if the extra time consuming of a coat is one of the main obstacles to choosing a breed, do something about it, as this is also the case with other dog breeds. Under the current climatic conditions, trimming every year or every 2 years is also particularly good for the dog, as felting coat can even lead to damage to the dog's health in the heat. Sometimes it doesn't hurt when the challenges of life and age override some traditions.